Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Boost Development Time for Embedded. My name is Filippo, and in this talk, we're going to see how you can leverage Felgo to improve your productivity while coding embedded solutions. I will be leading this talk, and later, our CEO and co-founder, Christian, will join us for the Q&A. Let's start with a few words on Felgo, shall we? Felgo is a company based in Austria, both a Qt technology partner and Qt service partner. It has been on the field for more than 10 years, extending Qt and bringing into non-desktop platforms. We really love Qt and we want to make it the best and most accessible cross-platform solution for everyone. What about me? Well, by day I'm a Qt and Android software engineer at Felgo, and by night I mostly code open source applications. I'm also the author of the Qt-based terminal emulator Cool Rototerm. Let me give you a brief overview of the Felgo SDK. The Felgo SDK extends standard Qt with more than 200 new APIs. These APIs generally implement common use patterns, so in the end, you will be able to achieve more features using less code. It also comes with many development tools which will improve your development time and speed up coding. It supports every platform that standard Qt supports, so that includes mobile, desktop, and even embedded. So why should you pick Felgo? Well, the idea is providing the best possible user experience and user interface out of the box. We all know that competition is getting very hard, especially in the embedded field, and we want to make great user experiences with as little code as possible. But at the same time, we want to grant a flexibility so that if you want to customize your user experience, you can do that. Felgo provides all of these components ready for you out of the box. Why is it hard developing on embedded hardware? Well, often the embedded hardware is limited and you are forced to write platform-dependent code. It's very hard to port code from one platform to another. And it's very hard also to share code with companion apps, which almost you are required to do nowadays. UI development and iteration is also very slow. It takes a lot of time from code to running application on your development board. Animations are very hard to achieve, and thankfully Qt really help with that. You also need access to the hardware platform you are developing for. It's very hard to simulate what you're going to do on your development machine, as an example. You often need to maintain complex tool chains with often custom cross-compilers to get your code running on the development board. This takes deployment time to a maximum, basically, compared to all the other platforms. So let's try to summarize a bit your average workday. So you wake up, you get to the office or you work at home, you grab your very important morning coffee, and then you start coding. You hit save, you compile your code into an executable, you deploy it to a target machine, and you test that everything is working as expected. This is the best way to introduce you the Felgo development tools. We'll see how they will interact with your average workday and how will they improve it. So let's try to focus on this part of your own development flow, the compile deploy cycle. Depending on the size of native code, the status of build caches, and the architecture you're targeting, this can take up to a few minutes. And it's repeated for each and every device you are targeting countless times each day. So we have had very bad experiences with the QNX board taking a really long time to get an application up and running. But all of this has a silver lining, which is a lot of spare time, which you can spend on something else. Yay! No, that's not the reality, sadly. This is wasted time that we could be spending coding and improving our application. So how can we fix it? Felgo comes with QML Hot Reload, which is a technology to apply code changes directly to a running application, as we can see here. So there's no need to redeploy it. You just press Ctrl S, and the Felgo Live server is smart enough to detect what you changed and push only the changes to the Felgo Live client on the right. The Felgo Live client will try to preserve the application state as much as possible. So if you are in a subpage with a checked checkbox, after redeployment, the state of this page will be preserved and the checkbox will still be checked. This works with every QML code and every asset or resources that the application can load. So in this example, we are loading a separate file, a separate QML file, and this is correctly applied. This also works for images and stuff like that. It even works for native code if you deploy the first time the native classes together with the application. So you just need to deploy the first time and then you can apply QML changes afterwards without a need for redeployment. Here you can see my two handsome colleagues showing off Felgo Hot Reload on 3 different devices. We have an Android tablet on the left, a Raspberry Pi in the middle, and an iPhone on the right. All of them are running the very same application, which uses a different layout depending on the available screen size. As soon as he changes the code, these changes are immediately applied to each of the 3 running applications, preserving the state. As you can see, the UI does not restart from the beginning. It's still where it was before the changes were applied. This works on every live client, so on desktop, Android, and iOS using the Felgo Dev app, and on embedded clients. This also means that updating the running QML application on our QNX board now took 2 seconds instead of 20 minutes. Here you can see another example of simultaneous testing on 3 different devices. In this case, there's the live client, desktop live client on the left, iOS client on the right, and Android in the middle. This is very useful if you want to test multiple screen sizes and multiple DPI densities of different embedded devices. Let's summarize a bit Felgo Hot Reload. It works with any Qt and QML project, so no need for Felgo-specific components or project settings in here. It works out of the box with any Qt and QML project. It works on every platform supported by Qt, and that includes embedded boards and WebAssembly. It integrates with every live client, and it even supports multiple live clients at the same time. It works also when you're using C++ code, provided you deploy your C++ classes the first time. And it saves around 10 to 20 hours per developer per month. So this is going to definitely speed up your development. We have even more tools. With Felgo Cloud Build, you can build your own Qt projects directly on the cloud, download the artifacts, and deploy them to your targeted board. There's no need to have on your system the cross-compilers or the complex tool chains that generally are required. All of them are handled by the Felgo Cloud Builds. You can host them on Felgo servers, or if you prefer, you can host them on-premise. With Felgo Cloud IDE, you will be able to write your application directly from within your web browser. You will be also able to take full advantage of Hot Reload. You will have an integrated WebAssembly view within your web browser to see while you code, and you can also connect any other live client, so your Android device or your embedded board, so you can see the changes directly in there. You can even go full cycle and use both the Felgo Cloud builds and the Felgo Cloud IDE and code without a single tool installed on your development machine. I just want to give you a very brief introduction to Felgo Cloud IDE. As we can see, we have on the left your project file, your source files. Those are hosted on GitLab, directly on a Git repository. We have in the center the open file, which you can edit, and it has full syntax highlighting and full code completion. And on the right, you can see directly the WebAssembly preview of your code. As soon as you edit it, the live preview will change accordingly. In this example on the right, there's Tima, our very own Jira work log tracker, where you can basically track your Jira tasks. And it's an application that's available on Google Play Store and on Apple App Store. Let's now abandon the tooling world and move to the next important topic on the list, which is the Felgo SDK itself. We discussed how the compile-deploy cycle is important and time-consuming, but Felgo also helps you in the coding part by allowing you to create applications with more features and less code. But how is that even possible? Well, just take a look at this. This is a reference of Felgo and Qt components. The one in black are standard Qt QML components, and the one in orange are added on top of standard Qt by using the Felgo SDK. There's just too many to go into the details of each one of them, but we'll try to give you the highlights and how they improve embedded development. Felgo components are higher level compared to standard Qt component. A good example is navigation, which will allow you to define in an abstract way pages inside your application and completely manage everything automatically for you. There's also custom themes and styles via a very simple theming API, where you can just change let's say the accent color of your whole application, or you can go deeper and to completely customize the behavior and the look and feel of every component. You also get density independence out of the box using DP and SB sizes, and responsive layouts which automatically adapt to the available screen space. The Felgo SDK also includes components which will help you create better mobile applications. This is very useful because nowadays almost every embedded device will have to talk to an Android or iOS phone. So companion apps becomes much easier using the Felgo SDK. You're going to have native styling on every single platform, so the application will look native on each platform, and you will be able to share most of the code with your embedded client. So coding it should become much easier. You can also reuse all the Felgo tools we presented earlier, so both Hot Reload, Cloud IDE, or Cloud Builds completely support mobile development. This is a breakdown of the features that the Felgo SDK provides on mobile. You're going to have a native UI. As you can see here, we have a iOS client on the left and an Android client on the right, and the system looks entirely native. We have native interaction with the platform, so if you share something, it's going to behave like a native Android or iOS share. And you can also have third-party plugins to have monetization, analytic to measure how your users are using the application, engagement to get user back via push notifications, and even cloud integration, where you can store some data on the cloud or create a backend system using Firebase. Getting started with Felgo is quite easy. Just go to our website, felgo.com/download, and grab the online installer. Install the pre-required packages for your operating system and follow the on-screen steps. In the end, it will come with its own separate version of Qt Creator and Qt, so it won't pollute your system and you can keep it installed alongside your standard Qt version if you want to do so. If you prefer to install Felgo on top of an existing Qt installation, just go to the Qt Marketplace at the link below and follow the steps to install it from there. Let's now move to showcase a few Felgo applications. These are both embedded applications or Felgo companion apps which you can use with embedded devices. This is the first project we're going to see, and it was a human-machine interaction or HMI device developed for the automotive industry, for Telenav and for a notorious car brand. This was specifically targeting electric vehicles, and the idea was to provide a dashboard, car dashboard, full integrated system with automation. I'm going to stress this again. This was developed on a QNX board, which was notoriously slow, and with QML Hot Reload, time required for deployment went from around 20 minutes to just 2 seconds, making bug reproduction and fixes much faster. Another good example is the Lens Smart Loading app. This was a companion app developed both for Android and iOS, which allowed you to control the amount of heat generated by this heated sportswear. As you can see on the right, we also have a battery indicator telling the status of your embedded devices. All the communication was handled using Bluetooth LE. We also have the coffee machine example, which is standard coffee machine example. It's included in the Felgo Dev app, which you can download from the Google Play or Apple App Store and try it out right now. And it contains basically a simple UI which you can apply to a simple coffee machine. All the UI is using Felgo components, and it's all nicely animated as soon as you move those scrollers there. We also have a very nice music player app with a great design, vaguely inspired by Spotify. And this application is also included in the Felgo Dev app. And as the applications included in the Felgo Dev app are open source, so you can build your own embedded solution on top of those if you want to create your smart music player or smart Bluetooth speaker. The last example we're going to see is the workout app. This would make a great companion app for a step counter or an activity tracker. As we can see, we have maps integration and GPS recording on the left. This is also not fake data, so this is real data from our CTO. Pretty crazy, but okay. So let's continue. It's now time to wrap this presentation up. Let's first hear a feedback from a customer. This is the same telenav we were discussing before. So with the Apple Professional Services and using the Felgo tools, they were able to deliver a very big project in time, within budget and with added functionalities. This was due to the code savings of the Felgo SDK and the time savings of the Felgo toolings. Overall, this is what you get with Felgo. You can save around, from estimates, 20 hours to 80 hours per developer per month. This is due to hot reload, not requiring you to go into the full development cycle each and every time, but just apply the changes, keep preserving the application state, avoiding all the complex tool chains you might have to handle your development board, and a much faster and more iterative UI development. You can also reuse the code base against other embedded platforms or secondary applications or companion apps, which work much better using the Felgo tools and the Felgo SDK. I think that's all from me. I'll now leave the stage to Christian for the Q&A. Thank you very much for listening to me rambling about for half an hour, and see you soon.